All right, general math. Working with some square roots and some cube roots today. Got to be really careful when we do these because we have a lot of negatives here, and it does matter where the negatives go. So we're going to do these two problems in red and these two problems in blue down here. These are square roots and these are cube roots. So what a square root means is like what times itself equals the number inside, and a cube root is like what times itself 3 times. Okay, so this first problem right here, we have the square root of 6 squared, and we always work inside to outside. So this is actually square root of 36, because on my calculator, if I typed in parentheses 6 parentheses squared, I would get 36. It's just saying 6 times 6 is 36. Now they want to know what times itself equals 36. Well, this is what I'm going to show you. We have our square root instructions over here in red. You're going to hit the second button. It's up in the top left. And then you're going to hit the x squared buttons. It's over here on the left side. And the square root of 36 is 6. Now you can cut out the middlemen. You can just type in second x squared, get your square root sign, and then go parentheses 6 parentheses squared. And that's going to work too. Okay, so it's the same thing either way. Down here on the second one, just be careful. Make sure you put the negative sign outside the parentheses. So I'm going to go second x squared negative, and make sure you're using the negative sign, not the subtraction sign, parentheses 6 parentheses squared, and I get domain error. And here's why. You cannot take the square root of a negative. So what's actually going on inside of here? Well, we have that negative, and we know that 6 times itself, which is 6 squared, is 36. So you cannot take the square root of a negative because nothing times itself equals a negative. What we do to kind of combat that is we use the number I. So we know that the square root of 36 is 6, and then this negative turns into an I because it's an imaginary number. When you have a domain error on your calculator, it's not real, it doesn't work, so we call it imaginary. That I stands for the square root of -1 there. So if you ever have a domain error, a negative inside, it does not work. Now, over here it would work, and over here it would also work because the negative is inside the parentheses. So -6 times -6 is positive 36. So that's you're going to be able to take the square root of that. And over here, the negative's on the outside. So let's actually do these. -6 times -6 is positive 36. Well, that's going to be 6. And then over here, we have a negative on the outside. So it's going to be negative, and then the square root of 36 is 6. Okay, so, a lot of different avenues or branches kind of coming off of this stuff. Now, down here with the cube roots, it's a little different because cube roots can use negatives. That is okay. To type in a cube root, it's a little different. We have the instructions over here in blue. We're going to hit the second button, and then we're going to hit this little up arrow caret. So I'm going to hit second. I'm going to hit there. No, that's not what I wanted. I'm going to hit 3, and then second, and then the up arrow. So we're actually going to hit 3, and then second, and then the up arrow. That gives us the cube root, and then I'm just going to go parentheses, -27, parentheses. And then if I want cubed, I'm going to hit this up arrow and hit the 3. Okay, and I'll actually get -27 again. Okay. Now down here on the bottom one, I have a negative on the outside, so I'm going to hit the negative sign. And then I'm going to hit 3, second, up arrow. And then I'm going to do parentheses, -27, parentheses. And then I got to get this cubed in here again. So I hit the up arrow, 3, and it's going to tell me positive 27. Okay, so we're worried about the negative up here. We are not really worried about the negative down here. It'll all work out in the blue. If it doesn't work out, you got to throw an I in there for the red. Okay, I'll be back on Monday, and you can ask me questions if you need to then.